moment in our country's history. As we leave the European Union, we will forge a bold new positive role for ourselves in the world, and we will make Britain a country that works not for a privileged few, but for every one of us. That pledge to the people of our United Kingdom is what guides me in our negotiations with the EU. And for me, that means 5 things. First, the agreement we reach with the EU must respect the referendum. It was a vote to take control of our borders, laws and money, and a vote for wider change, so that no community in Britain would ever be left behind again. But it was not a vote for a distant relationship with our neighbours. Second, the new agreement we reach with the EU must endure. After Brexit, both the UK and the EU want to forge ahead.
Sticking to our guns on the idea that a whole new bespoke UK-EU arrangement can be achieved, and that whole customs union single market in or out thing isn't the only way, and it seems to me that the way she's able to lean on that idea is simply because of the need that the EU has, or arguably has, for the trade that it has with us. We'll get reaction and analysis of this speech in a few minutes from Theo Osherwood, LBC's political editor. We'll hear from the Conservative MP Nicky Morgan, who's chair of the Treasury Committee and Conservative MP for Loughborough. At 3, Alistair Campbell will join us, former Director of Communications for Tony Blair. And at 3:30 we'll hear from Jacob Rees-Mogg, Conservative MP for North East Somerset and arch Brexiteer, I don't think you'd mind me saying. That's all coming up here on LBC. Stay with us for weather and travel updates as well. It's 16 minutes past 2.
This is LBC. LBC Travel starting on the A102 at Kidbrooke. The road is closed northbound at the Sun in the Sands roundabout. Traffic is on a short diversion while a problem with the advertising boards hanging overhead are sorted out. On the North Circular Road in Edmonton, there's a lane block westbound just outside North Middlesex University Hospital because of an accident. There's some very slow traffic building up. Traffic on the M25 is now moving again clockwise at junction 5 for the M26 after a short road closure. And I'm just hearing that in Aldgate there's a lane shut on Mansell Street. That's very near Tower Gateway DLR station because of some water main work. There's some very slow traffic in the area. The Woolwich Ferry has been suspended because of the high tide. If you're going off the train, South Western and South Eastern Railway are advising passengers not to travel at the moment due to the severe weather. It's a similar story on Greater Anglia. London North Western are suspended from Watford Junction to St Albans Abbey. And again, the company asking passengers to try and complete their journey as early as possible today. LBC Travel, your next update in 15 minutes. I'm Ross Powell.
This is LBC.
The internet is no longer confined to computers and mobile devices. Many everyday objects now have network connectivity. The Internet of Things is developing rapidly, and businesses need to future-proof their networks to stay ahead. BT can help keep you connected to customers and people with connection, collaboration and security solutions, whatever the size, sector or ambitions of your business. Find out more and enter to win an Apple MacBook Air at lbc.co.uk.
TDC Smile in a Day offers a permanent solution to the embarrassment and discomfort of dentures or loose and missing teeth.
You can't put a price on it. I know that sounds cliched, but I cannot put a price on the transformation in me that was triggered by having my teeth done.
Book your free consultation today. Visit smileinaday.co.uk or call TDC Harley Street on 0203 7334 987.
The word would be transformative.
Radio player. All the radio you love while you work.
And everyone is singing along.
Radio through your browser to help the day fly by.
On the radio, oh no. They've been playing our song now everywhere I go.
Radio. Everywhere you go. Search Radio Player.
On the radio. Well, what I love about the Discovery Sport is that it takes us anywhere and everywhere. They've easily managed to get all our bikes up the mountain which is handy, seeing as we like coming down them so much.
Venture out and see the very capable Land Rover Discovery Sport at your local retailer. Adventure, it's in our DNA. Land Rover, search Discovery Sport.
What have you done to my toast? It's a mess.
It's a jam heart.
Oh, it's the wrong way up. I thought it was a jam bottom.
Invest time in stuff that really makes you happy. Whether it's making romantic gestures at breakfast or playing the guitar badly, you can, as Money Farm's here to look after your other life investments. We use innovative technology and investment wisdom to match you with a portfolio that can help your money grow. We offer general investments and ISAs, all with low fees. You have one life. Invest wisely. Moneyfarm.com. Your capital is at risk. Money Farm is authorised and regulated by the Financial Conduct Authority. The Advertising Standards Authority regulates ads across all media. Most are legal, decent, honest and truthful.
Consume, spend, more!
Please. Last year the ASA removed thousands that weren't.
Best of the best, greatest ever!
Come on, you're being offensive. Where there is advertising, the ASA is watching. What? Everywhere? Yeah, everywhere. Even this one. If an ad is wrong, the ASA is here to put it right.
There are so many reasons why I got into teaching.
One of the best things is the light bulb moment.
When you see a pupil suddenly understand something, that's really, really special.
Every child is so full of potential, and the thing that makes me proudest to be a teacher is seeing them realise what they are capable of. I don't think any other job can give you the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train, search, apply to teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility. Shut the door on routine. Start something new. Power your adventure and unmap your life with the Jeep Renegade from £189 a month. With 5-star Euro NCAP safety rating, touchscreen, Bluetooth, sat-nav and legendary Jeep capability. Visit jeep.co.uk to begin your journey today. Personal contract hire, Jeep Renegade 1.4 longitude manual. Initial rental of £1,134. 48-month term, 8,000 miles per annum until March 31st, 2018. Subject to status. Leases.
Leading Britain's Conversation, LBC, with Sheila Fogarty.
She's talking about Britain being a champion of free trade at the moment, the Prime Minister, in her Mansion House speech. Gary's call from Glasgow. All this talk of Northern Ireland has got you fuming, Gary. Tell me why.
Scotland voted overwhelmingly to remain part of the European Union.
It only decides things that are relevant to the market, which most of us would want it to do. And our own judges are in it. You know, this is why this is so ridiculous. And then we're not going to be in a customs union, Sheila. We're going to be in a customs agreement, and we're going to be completely aligned with Europe. So if we're aligned with Europe...
Well, not completely, says Theresa May. Not completely, says Jacob Rees-Mogg. Why do you say it's completely? Even a customs union from Labour isn't about full alignment, is it?
Well, Labour's one is about being able to make decisions with the EU, which I think they're probably delusional about, because the whole Brexit project is delusional. So you have to go along with it, whether you're Labour or Conservative, because you're scared of offending public opinion. But I called this a Schroders cat trade negotiation, because basically we're going to be both in the customs union and the single market and out of it at the same time, depending on who's looking. I mean, the reality of the matter is that if we align ourselves with European standards, which she wants to do, that's her objective, then we might as well have had a say in how those standards were arrived at. And then
well, I suppose. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, hang on that question of standards. I mean, I'm not supporting what she said. I'm just outlining what she said. She said. We have some of the highest regulatory. The UK has some of the highest regulatory standards on the planet, and we have no intentions of reducing them. So the EU would have nothing to fear with us being outside of their regulatory standards, because we lead on most of them.
But the thing is, Sheila, it's verbal semantics. We lead on them because we led on them as members of the EU. We were the ones pushing. I'll give you a single example, because most Brexiteers can't name any. The Defective Products Act that was brought in 1987 in the UK. That legislation was the result of an EU directive that all the EU members agreed. Now, the EU didn't tell member states how to bring in that legislation. It just said, it sets an objective. We do something about defective product. Then each country goes away and writes their own laws on that subject.
All right, Alex, I'm going to leave it there with you if I may, because I'm keen to get Colin in from Camberley as well. Thank you for your call, Alex, in Enfield. Colin, hello.
Oh, hi, Sheila. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Yep.
Alex made some very good points there, but the point I'd like to make, the elephant in the room for me, is the huge number of foreign companies that are currently resident in the UK that came here because we are in a customs union. People aren't realising, perhaps they don't realise, Bombardier, Siemens, Nissan, Toyota, all these companies simply came here for the access we provide. They can just take all their products, ship across the channel or over to the Irish Sea without any paperwork whatsoever. And I don't really think they're going to hang around if we leave a customs union.
You think they'll just find a place where they can base themselves, where there already is that ease of trade? We
fought very, very hard to get these companies in. I mean, I'm 58 now. I remember, over in Deal, for example, or at Porter Sandwich, there's the Pfizer company that I remember back in the 70s. The British government begged them to come over and provide jobs. We virtually paid for everything for them to do. Then we started convincing these foreign companies, starting with the Japanese, to come over. Jeez. And now they come over because, of course, English is their second language. And we competed to get these companies here. They're not going to stand for paperwork and things. They can just now head over to Spain or somewhere where they can probably charge lower wages.
Does it worry you that Theresa May couldn't say yes about Brexit being
it's politician speak. I mean, as a big fan of Yes Prime Minister and all that in the days, Humphrey Appleby once said that politics is about surviving to the end of the week, and this is just surviving day by day. In a week we'll have forgotten everything she said. The EU has already rejected it, and their only trump card now is to blame the EU for our own red lines.
Has she softened our position in any way, do you think, in this speech?
Well, we know the EU has already, actually they got wind of this already, and they said, they said it's dead in the water already.
What is?
Basically it's a pep talk to the British people, who really are not getting the whole thing, to be quite honest. I don't want to put my own people down, but it's huge sway to the British population who can't even name the 7 colours of the rainbow. And they're expected to comment on the geopolitical situation of the EU.
Okay. Colin,
I'm sorry, but I feel very depressed about that speech.
Well, I'm sorry. I hope there was something in the last 3 hours that could keep you happy. Colin in Camberley, thank you very much indeed. Just before I hand over to Ian, some breaking news, dreadful and topical. 2 people are dead and a gunman is on the run from police after opening fire in a dormitory at Central Michigan University. Stay with LBC for all the developments on that. At 7, Andrew Pierce, right now on LBC, it's Ian Dale.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Well, imagine you ran one of the big 6 energy firms and had, shall we say, a few PR difficulties over the years. What's the last thing you'd do on a day when half the country is freezing its whatevers off? Yep, you put up your prices, that's what you do, and that's what E.ON have done today. They even tried to hide the fact that they're doing it, while consumer groups have reacted with predictable and understandable outrage. Theresa May has vowed to end rip-off energy prices, and this week the energy price cap bill was laid before Parliament. So how do you react when you're maybe having difficulties paying your bills? Does it convince you that caps on energy prices are needed now more than ever? And if you're struggling to heat your home, how has this cold snap impacted you? Have you had to ration your heating because you feel that you won't be able to pay the bill?
On FM, online, on your mobile, and on digital radio. Leading Britain's conversation.
Другото Woking е където е централата на Макларен. Производителя на луксозни автомобили.
Bands of freezing rain and snow are still causing major disruption across the UK. In southwest England, some major routes are still still littered with abandoned cars, with people told to stay indoors. LBC's Charlotte Gay reports.
Hundreds of people had to be rescued from their cars, some with a hand from the army, after spending up to 12 hours stranded on the A303 in parts of Somerset and Wiltshire. In Devon, Storm Emma whipped up winds and waves, damaging the Dawlish railway line and station, and washing substantial amounts of ballast along the tracks. Police from across the southwest are telling drivers to stay away from their cars and only travel if it's absolutely essential. Charlotte Gay, LBC, Somerset.
In Greater Manchester, 3,500 vehicles were stuck on the M62 at one point last night. It's still closed. A number of rail operators are asking people not to travel at all this evening, as London Waterloo will shut by 8 o'clock. These people leaving in the last hour have told LBC they're still facing problems.
But it's probably best to get home early to stay at work.
If I was in my office, I probably wouldn't be getting here till 8 o'clock, so I'd be quite concerned.
First stop on the line, so you'd think if anywhere we could get there, but not so far.
It's not looking great. More than 1,200 flights scheduled to take off and land at UK and Irish airports have been cancelled. 4 skiers have been killed and another is missing after an avalanche in the southern French Alps. Another skier was injured in Entrance near the Italian border. Theresa May says neither side will get exactly what they want from the Brexit negotiations. The Prime Minister's been setting out her vision for the future relationship with Europe in a speech in London. She's reiterated her red lines. The UK will leave the single market and customs union and the jurisdiction of the European Court of Justice. Former Labour Communications Director Alistair Campbell has told LBC there were mixed messages.
What the speech showed is that she still hasn't really to get a clear strategy together. I think you got a sense of just how balanced questions there are and the mess of the negotiations thus far. I think she was trying to put another detail out there and slightly blind people with science.
2 men have been arrested on suspicion of conspiracy to cause an explosion after 5 people died in an explosion in Leicester last weekend. 3 other men are still being questioned on suspicion of manslaughter. The LBC markets report a short time ago the FTSE 100 was down 77 at 70.97. The pound buys $1.37 and €1.12. LBC weather, outbreaks of snow, rain and freezing rain in the south and southwest. Further sleet and snow moving across southern and central parts of England and Wales, and showers persisting in the northeast. High of just 1. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Thomas Watts.
LBC Travel, looking first at what's happening on the M62 in Yorkshire. The road is closed westbound between junction 24 at Bailey Top and 21 at Millwall.
Shopping centre.
Snow. In Warwickshire, there are 2 lanes closed on the M40 both ways between junction 13 to Bishop's Touchbrook and 12 for Gaydon because of barrier repairs. And on the M5 in Somerset, 2 lanes are shut northbound between junction 26 at Wellington and 25 at Taunton because of a 2-car accident. In Northumberland, the A1 is closed both ways between Alnwick and Berwick upon Tweed because of the weather, and lots of roads are closed in Oxfordshire, South Wales and across the southwest of the country. Now on the trains, Virgin Trains East Coast and cross-country services aren't running north of Newcastle because of poor weather in Scotland. Nothing is currently running across central Scotland. In the south east, this is generally to get home as soon as you can before the weather gets any worse. South east and southwestern and southern are advised to complete their journeys as soon as possible. LBC Travel, your next updates in 15 minutes. I'm Ross Now.
This is LBC.
Invest time in stuff that...
Jak se šli utvorit líbě za ten zvoní. Telefon vypadne z net.
Please wait while your call is connected.
energy companies, and they have a terrible reputation at the moment, a terrible reputation, which is why many of us have switched our accounts away from them. Well, I suspect that there will be a million customers of E.ON today who will think about doing exactly the same thing, and you can understand why. Now, what they've done is they're not actually increasing the unit price of electricity and gas. All they're doing is removing £30 worth of dual fuel and paperless discounts for customers on standard variable tariffs. That means, effectively, that customers will see a 2.6% rise to a typical annual bill of £1,153. Now, it's not coming in until April, but even so, excuse me, this is effectively bearing bad news, isn't it? They tried to hide it. They didn't actually announce.
After 300 yards, you have reached your destination on your left. After 80 yards, turn right, Walsing Walk. Turn right.
Oh. Hello. Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
has been found during the search for a missing hiker. Officers and mountain rescuers had been looking near Stirling for the 51-year-old. In other news, 2 British tourists have been shot and injured in eastern Brazil. The men, believed to be brothers, are said to be in a stable condition in hospital. And 2 more men have been arrested after 5 people died in an explosion in Leicester on Sunday. 3 other men are still being questioned by police. LBC weather: more snow in parts of England, Wales and also southern parts of Northern Ireland. Strong winds and rain across the West Country. A hard frost everywhere. A low tonight of -4. From Global's newsroom for LBC, I'm Zora Suleiman.
This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Docky. 0345 6060 973. Steve says Mrs May's favourite mantra is taking back control of our money, our laws and our borders. She appears to be achieving this by paying them £40 billion, transferring all of their laws into our law and leaving the Irish border wide open. Yeah, but apart from that, how's she doing?
Oh, fabulous.
Sue says the Lib Dems have said that they will be a Remain party. The EU knows this and will make it so difficult for Theresa May. This will force a general election and the Lib Dems will get in. Job done. The Lib Dems will get in? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so. Gwen says, and it's not Nick Clegg's fault, really. It's all his fault. Gwen says, listening in Nent Head, Cumbria. We have snow drifts up to 14 feet. Cumbria Search and Rescue are trying to get to us with special vehicles. I have 3 sheep stuck in drifts and it's been like this since Tuesday. Many of us are trapped in our houses. It's pretty bad here with no end in sight for us.
Stop whining!
Huh. Sheep are stuck in drifts. I'm no farmer or expert of, in animal husbandry in any way, shape or form, but that seems a bit bizarre. Can't they get out? Why did they stood still for so long to get stuck in a drift? Did someone park the sheep there and then forget that they were there and then came back afterwards and said, oh, blimey, I'm going to dig it out now? Stupid sheep. This says, is it me or does Jacob Rees-Mogg look like a Victorian Where's Wally?
This is why I wonder whether we're on the same planet as these people. And I mean, ultimately, what you can see, it doesn't matter whatever happens. It doesn't matter what the arguments are, right? All of the arguments are falling down. And the only thing that's left is that we don't like foreigners, and we didn't want them in the country, and that's all that's left. When you strip away all the nonsense that everyone else is saying, because all the rest of it is just nonsense around the edge to try and make it look good. Yeah. It's like dressing a bomb in flowers. It's still a bomb, but it just got flowers on it. It's effectively what they've done. And so they pluck on racist thing that's the core of their argument. And they've prettied it up with other little bits and pieces. Economy.
Yeah, but I think that the people who are espousing that and making you, frightened of the modern day Reds under the bed and all of that, I think those people have been. I get the sense that the government and the assorted civil servants and those that aren't pinning their political future on a hard Brexit. As far as career terms goes, and probably tax-paying terms as well, because they pay much less tax under the British government than they would under an EU tax
wherever regime. They get that from.
Yeah.
Wherever they get that from.
I think that those people are being patted on the head and told to go and sit in the corner because the grown-ups are taking control, because there's only so much money that people can afford to lose, and we've already lost a massive amount of money. I mean, things are about 10% more expensive already, and we haven't even left yet. So I think that people that are in control have just said, we'll keep trying to placate the arch Brexiteer ultras. But they're not going to get what they want, so there's absolutely no point in telling them that. We'll just keep, making like an I'm gonna. It's like Tony Blair was absolutely the king of I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that. And if you tell people you're going to do it, they relax. And it's almost as though you don't need to do it. You just tell them that you're going to do it, and they think that, oh well, there's that problem solved. We can start worrying about someone else now.
Exactly. And the thing is, this is the exact reason why there should never be another referendum.
Ever at all. On anything that's really complicated. Yeah.
Don't give it to people. If it's as simple like, shall we park here or there? Just give them a very simple form. If it's really simple, that a baby can handle. If you give children too many options, they get confused, right? Which is why when I have with my children, I'll give them simple options. You can do A or do B.
Which is why we shouldn't have a second referendum. We shouldn't have had the first one because the issue is too complicated. But we should not have the second because people aren't going to do any homework. They haven't read a single thing that they have disagreed with since the referendum, and nobody's changed their mind in any way, shape, or form.
No, I mean, bear in mind the age of most of the Brexiteers, right? And I mean, especially think of the economic circumstances. These people are more likely a likelihood of cancer. You know, when they voted out was the very system that will give them the drugs that they need to survive. Yeah, so they voted out of Europe. We don't want any of its institutions for they need.
Thinking about that, they would be, rounded up and put on buses and sent to Dover and then stuck on a ship. It's just beyond comprehension that would happen. So, I mean, stranger things have happened, but I think that most people are assuming that everything will just carry on as was.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope that, and I hope someone will call later on and just give a little bit of their thoughts because there's a sentiment that it's not necessarily stage up in this way, so there's nothing very clear cut.
No, exactly. I mean, it's easy for us who are here, who are resident here, who are born here, to be sanguine and confident that everything will work out. But if you are, like you say, if you're French and you're here and you've got a business and you're working and maybe you've got a family and you want to settle down, then it doesn't come as much comfort that people will assume that you'll be okay because you need something a bit more concrete than that.
Absolutely, mate. So thank you for...
Okay, thanks a lot, Patsy. Cheers, mate. 0345 6060 973. I love the way that French people speak. English sounds like to a person, but it's probably not as mellifluous as the French accent, because even when he was speaking English, it was all of that up and down. It was sort of sing-songy. Whereas I'm sure that English sound it's a bit more back of the throat, a bit more Neanderthalic. That's probably what we sound like to French people, whereas they sound to us like they could be reading out the telephone directory and it sounds like sweet music to us, because it's all at the front of the mouth, like they're whispering sweet nothings in your ear. Monica says maybe postmen don't have the delivery items with them in the first place because most people aren't in during the day, so they don't bother. They write up the card in advance. Well, that's an outrage, Monica. That can't be true. We have to get to the bottom of this. Why do they do that? I mean, if you have to be in, if they send you a message saying, for your convenience, we will deliver at some time tomorrow between the hours of 8 in the morning and 8 in the evening. Thank you for your business. If they do that, and you, I mean, people that are busy, they may actually give up work in order to stay in to receive that very important pair of shoes, or whatever it is they spend money on that they haven't got, stuff they don't need. And it happens so many times that I'm in, waiting for it, and they surreptitiously slip a note through my door saying I wasn't in, when I was.
Left on the roundabout.
It happens so many times that there has to be some reason for it. They have to be profiting in some way from that. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. I don't get it. Why come all the way to the door to tell me that I wasn't in when I was in? They could have just posted it through the box, or knocked on the door and I would sign for it, or whatever. I don't get it. I'm going to catch one of them at it. And if they only have the note in their hands and not the actual package, then, aha, charade you are, they will be guilty, and I will be forced to kill them. Unless that would be an overreaction, in which case I'll take that back. Here's a call in Brighton. Hello, Lewis. Lewis, is there anybody out there? Have I done it right?
Oh, hello, sorry.
Ah, there you are.
Hello, sorry,
Yes,
I was just calling in because I was wanting to respond to a comment that was made, I think, 2 calls ago, saying you don't think a referendum should have happened at all. And I think I completely disagree. I'm completely impartial to the outcome of this whole debate because actually at the time the I wasn't even able to vote because I was unconscious. And also I didn't know what outcome there was going to be, and that's kind of the main thing that I think is going on with these conversations. No one has any clue what's going to happen whatsoever. It's a complete sociopolitical experiment. Something like this has never happened before. You read on articles of the people who are in the crux of the debate, right in the middle, the European civil servants. The only thing they can offer up is saying this is a very interesting thing that's happening. Never before in history. They have nothing to say. You see Theresa May make a speech, yes, you can disagree with, but all that Jeremy Corbyn can offer on the other side of the argument is, oh, I don't think that's right, she's offering loads of different solutions, but no one can support it. Well, neither is he. I think people looking into how we can solve this, but they're actually looking at what happened during the vote and why this vote happened, and the echo chambers that were formed. I mean, during my time when the vote was going on, obviously I was quite young, 17, 18, active on Twitter. On Twitter, the only thing I could see was people that agree with me.
Yeah, of course. But that's the nature of social media.
Exactly. That's the giving ideologies, right? And the only news option that I agree was from the independent. And then I just went on my own life. So the only thing that she'd have on Facebook was people who were in the normal middle-aged middle class who saying one thing about that.
That's the evil nature of social media, and they do that. The algorithms are organised to keep you fed with things that you agree with because it will keep you looking at the adverts.
Yeah, I think the main thing that people need to actually do is just step back and have a look at. And maybe some people in this debate need to just go for and admit, I am not talking. A lot of people...
You, me, and everyone I know.
Yeah, a lot of people are trying to participate in that one, so fair enough. A lot of the time, no one has a clue what they're on about. And if they're pretending to have a clue what they're on about, they're probably going to have these papers they read most.
Subject to status, T's and C's apply, excellent price. Retail customers only, participating dealers only.
Winston Wolf, Direct Line, you are?
Jane, the landlord.
So I understand a piece of equipment is misfiring. There'll be some cold bodies in this house. Sorry, Jane, your boiler is broken.
Oh, it's going to cost an arm and a leg.
Don't worry, you've got Direct Line landlord insurance. They cover boiler breakdowns as standard with buildings covered. Get it repaired and replaced, they'll pay the cost.
Brilliant.
Switch for boiler breakdown cover as standard with buildings cover. Can your insurance do that? Search Direct Line landlord. Excludes wear and tear. £200 excess applied. Call-out service. Underwritten by UK Insurance Limited.
Moving office is one of the most critical business decisions you will ever make. When designed, planned and managed well, it could reduce real estate costs, improve efficiency and increase profitability. Speak to Morris Interiors, who've been designing, fitting out and transforming workplaces for over 3 decades. Book your free consultation, attend a free seminar or get a free guidebook. Go to officerelocation.co.uk. Morris, workplace design experts.
Plusnet people can't help but help. Take Dave here. He's a cheery chap. He's helping Mrs. H switch to a super fast fibre package.
You're very welcome, Mrs. Henderson.
Maggie, she's setting up someone online with a SIM-only mobile plan. And Chris...
I find drying my hair upside down adds extra volume.
Well, He seems to be handing out good advice too. Plus then, people will go out of their way to help you. It's probably why they've bagged Uswitch as Best Provider for Customer Service Award for a 5th year running. Plus now, we'll do your prep.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Tweet at LBC. Text 84850.
Come on, we're running late!
Who's calling Nottingham? Hello, Sally.
Hello.
Sally.
Do you feel better for having got that explanation off your chest?
Which one?
Well, about Brexit.
Oh, that's... no, not really.
I tend to agree.
I might as well be talking to myself.
Well, you weren't. I was listening. In the future, I will be able to let you know exactly what posters and delivery people do, because due to a series of thefts leading up to Christmas, of parcels left outside or attempted break-in to my garage, involving a broken car window. The car was empty.
Yeah.
They obviously thought they could roll it back.
Lindsay's Echo, played by Mark Bevington, with Howard Williams directing the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra from Classic FM.
After 300 yards, turn right, Ravenswood Road. Then, at the end of the road, turn left.
Boston from George Martin's 3 American sketches, Cornelius Katzer and the Berlin Music Ensemble play for us tonight. And playing next, Little Dvorak to dance us into a new day, care of Katie Brathwaite.
Smooth classics on Classic FM with dreams. There's nothing quite like bedtime.
Spot it this week in the Middle Isle of Lidl, a pair of fresh spring offers. Get a powerful petrol pressure washer for £189 and a petrol lawnmower for just £139. Offer starts Sunday the 4th of March. Get there first. Subject to availability and may vary. Selected stores while stocks last.
On FM,
Online
on your mobile,
and on digital radio.
this is Classic FM.
From Global's newsroom, I'm Zora Sugerman. A stretch of the M62 remains closed tonight after around 3,500 vehicles became stranded in the snow around Rochdale. People across the UK are also being told to only travel if it's absolutely necessary because there's a new threat of ice from freezing rain which risks turning roads into icy death traps. The Met Office has issued a yellow weather alert until Saturday night as freezing rain sweeps across southern parts of England and West Wales. In some areas, flooding is now the major concern. Flood warnings have been sparked for more than 50 areas in Britain for Saturday as snow starts to thaw as well. Of the 51 alerts, there are 15 immediate action is required warnings for the southwest and northeast of England. Elsewhere, the red weather alert has now been extended in the Republic of Ireland, where thousands of homes remain without power. Meanwhile, the severe weather appears to have claimed another life. Police Scotland say the body of a woman has been found during the search for a missing hiker. She was found near Stirling. In other news, a self-styled teacher has been found guilty of trying to recruit children to carry out Islamic State-inspired attacks across London. 25-year-old Umar Haq groomed children as young as 11. And Britain's Katarina Johnson-Thompson has won gold in the pentathlon at the World Indoor Athletics Championships in Birmingham. She claimed victory in the 800 metres. From Global's newsroom, you're up to date.
This is Classic FM from Global.
Hello, wherever you are this morning, Katie B here to keep you warm with the help of some beautiful tunes. Schubert and Satie coming up after Dvorak.
The world's greatest music.
This is Classic FM.
beautiful Classic FM's orchestra in Scotland, the Royal Scottish National Orchestra, conducted by Naima Yergi. They're performing Dvorak's Second Slavonic Dance in Mi minor. It's 7 minutes past 1.
Speaking to the Met Office to get the latest from them, and the number to call if you are any of those people, if you just want to tell me what it's been like, as I say, down your way, it's 0345 6060 973. I've had great fun, I have to admit, in between work over the past couple of days or so, taking photographs of the what has been really picturesque. You go to some of the pastel coloured houses in West London and you put a bit of snow in front of them and they look more beautiful than ever. But some people, as I say, have lost their lives, and I wonder whether you feel that we just are not equipped to deal with these sorts of conditions. I took to the roads, probably shouldn't have done, but drove up to Oxfordshire to take photographs of red kites on Thursday. And there was, it did seem to me, on the M40 grit in place, although it's very difficult to tell what's grit and what's snow. And just a couple of months ago, when we had a lot of snow in early December, I skidded on the way back from Wales, as I was telling you, and it really is a terrifying experience. I managed to avoid 2 cars coming in the opposite direction. If you are on the roads this morning, and I hope you're tucked up in bed listening, but if you are on the roads, do take extra care because the conditions can be treacherous. In London, though, not much sign of gritting. I think I saw someone outside a school throwing a bit of salt on the ground, on the pavements, but on the roads, no. And in my area in Notting Hill Gate, those roads were really quite dangerous, and you saw cars driving it. It was very strange in modern life to see cars going at 10-15 miles an hour. So that's me, that's my experience of the week. It's been a lot of fun, but I know for a lot of you it's been treacherous. What's it been like where you are? 0345 6060 973. Let's start in Paddington, not far from me, and Bob is waiting for us first up. Bob, good morning to you.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm pretty good, actually. I rather love these conditions, but it's impossible not to be mindful of those who've been sleeping rough and those who've been affected in really bad ways. Some horror stories from the past few days.
Yeah, well, my trip to work, I'm working nights, consists of coming up the A3 from Kingston end of town, you know, to your end of town, as it were, and I didn't think it was that bad, actually. I came over Putney Bridge, the Thames hadn't frozen over, the traffic, I think a lot of people are keeping off the road. It might be in my imagination, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be.
I think you're absolutely right. I don't think it's your imagination at all. In West London, the smaller residential roads were almost empty of cars over the past few days. It was slightly like living in a Tolstoy novel. It was almost as though we were in Russia. It was rather amazing.
Yeah, I could run with that. As for gritting lorries, I've seen gritting lorries out,
yeah,
and roads are gritted. Perhaps some of the more obscure side roads need a top-up, and